you've changed so many lives in that. But I love how it sort of links back to what you said earlier about going and finding the right people. And when you and Michael met at a seminar, you were trying to find the right information, and you were traveling around the world. Is that story true that you created it because you couldn't find a natural source for jiu-jitsu growth and evolution of skills?
That's pretty much the right story, but just a little bit different. So what happened was my business partner Michael, he reached out to me to make a DVD. He was making some DVDs as a side job at that time,
Mhm.
and the he wanted to, in reality he wanted to learn jiu-jitsu, like, because he loved Hafger and he loved the over underpass, and then he found myself online doing those techniques, and then he reached out to me and ended up not making the DVD with him because I was already signed with another company pretty much. And then he invited me to go teach a seminar in Boston that he would organize, even though he didn't have a school or anything like that. He would just organize the seminar, and he invited me to sleep on his house to teach him a private lesson next day in the morning. And then that night we pretty much didn't sleep, like we went until like 5 a.m. or so, just talking about jiu-jitsu. He was showing me all the business that he used to do in the past and this and that. And
Mhm.
then we became great friends. But then we were stuck with that, like we were like, wait a second, look this. In order for me to learn your half guard and your over under, I had to travel you from New York City to Boston to take a private lesson with you, and that was the only way I could learn it from you. So, and then the idea came out, and like, so why don't you create like a website that we can host all the instructors and deliver the best jiu-jitsu techniques to the customers, like, and that was kind of like the idea and how we started.
Because I can't remember exactly where I found it, but it was like opening up and there was like a video game. There were all these treasures sitting there. There was like Gordon Ryan, John Danaher. I've got like your fundamental series. I've got your over the BJJ for the older guys over under pressure passing. When I look at it, it's such a wide variety of it. But for somebody who's coming in or somebody who's buying instructionals, how would you advise them to add them to their game? How can we train but also implement instructionals? How should we best use these amazing tools?
Yeah, so even though I sell online courses, I want to be honest, and I think like in jiu-jitsu it's very important that you also practice jiu-jitsu. So
Hmm.
you're not gonna learn jiu-jitsu and become a black belt just by watching, like. So I do think
That's a shame.
you yeah, I do think you have to practice as well. So I think the jiu-jitsu videos become a huge complement to your learning. It's almost like someone teach you live how to do something, and then you go home thinking about it, and how can you study that even deeper. And I think that's where the online courses comes in, like, so you briefly learn on your mind, and you want to go much deeper, then you go online and you learn that instructional, you watch that instructional, and you can go much 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 deeper because you can pause, you can go back, you can watch again, you can watch again and again and again, and helps you a lot to memory that and go back next day and train. And by the way, there's a lot of customers that they actually bring the iPad to the mat and they watch the technique and they do right away, or either an iPad or iPhone or whatever. So I think it's a great complement to your learning.